Hello and welcome. Richard Lester, director of Help, A Hard Day's Night and Superman 2 and 3, raised the ire of millions of movie fans around the world after replacing Richard Donner. Donner had directed Superman the movie, arguably the best of all the big screen versions, but was fired by the producers partway through shooting Superman 2, and those irate fans have for a long time remained critical. Lester, of course, directed many other successful films, including The Three Muskateers and also a number of comedy films. It was his decision to bring a more comic book entertainment approach to the films rather than Donner's more mythical style that grew critical fire over the years. But back in the late 80s, long before the criticism emerged and prior to the release of Superman 3, I caught up with Lester in his edit suite in London. I was curious at the time about the controversial big fire sequences in Superman 3 and Richard Pryor's nervous flying experiences with Chris Reeve during the shoot.
So, Richard, what sort of problems did this present, trying to burn down the factory?
Well, in our wisdom, the factory we chose to burn down was in fact an oil refinery which had just come on stream and supplied all of southern Alberta with petrochemicals. Not only does it have noxious gases, but it's one of those places where you go in and you have to put a hard hat on and guarantee that you will leave your cigarette lighters and anything flammable outside. And of course, this was the place that we naturally said, what a good place to blow up. So we had to do tests, a kind of like fifth grade school exam to prove that we could use controlled explosives properly. But they let us in, and we built our sets in amongst theirs. And we did set some almighty bangs off. That was only interesting in terms of the foolishness of our choice of location.
And there was no damage or anything done to it?
None whatsoever. Everyone survived.
Amazing. What about with the flying sequences? Now, do we see Superman fly a lot in this film, or is it really down to earth?
I think it's for the audience to judge, but I think practice is not making perfect, but we're getting better all the time, and I think certainly the flying is the best we've done so far. It's certainly been the most dangerous because there have been people. Richard Pryor tells the wonderful story when he has to fly into a coal mine, and he's up about 70 feet with with nothing underneath, not even a blanket, and he suddenly starts to panic because he said, we practiced in the studio with him, and there are walls and floors, and everybody's smiling, and there are boxes to catch you. And that's fine. Now suddenly it's the real thing, and he's up 70 feet in the air, suspended. Next to him is Chris in the full gear, and he starts to cry with terrible fear. I can't remember what he's supposed to say and everything. And suddenly Chris looks over at him and says, "Don't worry, Richard, I've got you." And he looks over and he said, this idiot actually believes he's Superman. He's going to save me. So we had to pull him down. I mean, it is dangerous. I mean, the one thing that audiences should always remember is that this flying isn't a game. It is terribly, terribly dangerous for the actors involved. And the fact that Chris was, as you probably know from your past interviews, was a pilot, was also a glider pilot. He understood the principles of aerodynamics and the way the body should appear, so that even though a stuntman with better muscular control can be put through those flight positions, he never looks as real as Chris does.
Yeah. Well, Richard, congratulations on another great effort. And thank you for talking to us.
You mean I've survived it?
You have survived. You passed with 10 out of 10.
Thank you for the interview.
I understand there were a number of ructions behind the scenes of the production of Superman 2 and 3. The shooting of the first two films had overlapped, then Superman 2 was stopped and restarted with Lester at the helm. Reportedly, Gene Hackman, who played Lex Luthor, refused to return for the reshoot, so Lester used a stunt double and an impersonator to dub Luthor's lines onto footage of Hackman shot by Donner. In late 2006, Donner's footage was re-edited into Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut, consisting primarily of his footage, with Lester's footage used only for scenes not shot during Donner's principal photography. Richard Lester is now in his late 90s and lives in London, his home, for the past 60 years.